Sure. Obviously not the start we wanted for our home opener. I saw a lot of things that were good, but I also saw a lot of areas where we fell short tonight. And really in that huddle after the match, I think that's the most telling part of this team. Nobody's okay with it. Nobody's satisfied with it. First match of the year against opponent that is as strong as San Diego is kind of what we designed the schedule for. I think that some weaknesses were exposed tonight that we didn't adjust quickly enough to, and that's the story of this match. You know, I think we had opportunities to capitalize where we could have run more points in particular rotations, and we didn't execute it tonight. And they've assured me, as I'm quite certain of, we'll make sure that we don't do that again. So tough losses like this, particularly early in the season, they serve us well as we're developing the team, and it's something that I know will help us as we continue to play. I mean, as early as tomorrow. You know, it's not something that we can hang our head, lick our wounds. There's no time for that. We have a bigger, faster, hungrier team that already has a win under their belt to prepare for tomorrow, and we'll be ready.
Liz, it seemed like there was an inordinate amount of serves that landed out of bounds, especially early in this. How big a factor do you think that played into putting the team in a hole?
You know, particularly in the first set, we gave away 12 points of unforced errors, albeit hitting errors, service errors. There's an aggressiveness that we want behind the service line. But if we're not matching our aces to errors, then that's where some maturity kicks in, and that's where we have to scale back some of our service, because I think that we want to make sure that our service game is prepared for tough opponents. You know, a lot of times if you're just hitting zones or you're just lobbing balls in, it might as well be a gimme point anyways, with the offense that exists on the other side of the net. So the intent behind seeing all these service errors is players working to be more aggressive. First match of the year, early in the season, I expected more service errors. And we can live with them as long as we're learning from them, as long as the aces are also increasing, as long as the team that we're playing against isn't firing on all pins in system all the time. And that necessarily wasn't the case for, I'd say, about half of these service errors.
To the girls, maybe what was San Diego doing that was the most frustrating thing to you guys that you're going to work on and come out back stronger against Florida State on?
Honestly, I don't feel that they did a lot. Honestly, they just play volleyball. For us, we had most of the errors we gave them those games. So I can't really say that they really frustrated us. I know we had a few freshmen on the court, so they probably got frustrated since it's their first time being out there. But other than that, we just got to pick it up on our end.
Yeah, I think along with what Coach was saying, we just didn't make adjustments as quick as we should have. So I think we can definitely take that and learn from it tomorrow. Now the first game jitters are out, if that's even an excuse, not really. But I think we know what we need to work on for tomorrow, for sure.
I don't know if you guys know this, well, you do know this, but you lost your first two season openers, last two seasons, and went on to play in the NCAA tournament. So can we maybe think that this is a positive in some ways?
I like the positive thought. I like it, Susie Sunshine. It's good. I get it. I get that piece. I do like it. I like these interesting historical perspectives. But I really would have liked to have that one. I think they would too. But it's going to serve us well. You know, it's the first match of the year. I'm quite certain. I trust my team. I know that, you know, they will do what it takes to make individual corrections. And as a team, we are as tight and as whole as we've ever been. You know, I think you saw moments where we were down, you could have counted us out. We're going to keep fighting back, and now we have to make sure that we are the aggressors and we're getting on top and holding that lead. You know, there's two sides to momentum shifts in volleyball, and we were on, you know, kind of the catch-up side and on the downhill side for much of this match. Now we need to make sure that we're becoming a lot more adept at being on the other side of that, being the first one out of the gate.
The girls, Coach, and you mentioned, Cierra, the corrections you have to make before tomorrow. A quick turnaround, another great opponent at noon tomorrow. How do you go about making those corrections in such a short amount of time?
Honestly, for us, each player is accountable for any mistakes that they made, and we know what we need to work on personally just from preseason. So if we see a lot of that coming up in games, we should know what we need to work on for the next game. And honestly, since it is a quick turnaround, it's not like we can go practice it. You know, all we can do is go home, rest, come back, prepare, ready to play, and prepare for the next team, and know our wrongs and be able to correct it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the fact that we'll be able to have a scouting session on them tomorrow morning before we play will help us a lot in knowing just a little bit like their tendencies, what they do, what they don't do. So I think we can really take advantage of that tomorrow morning and go from there.
Liz, can you comment maybe on the play of the two freshmen that got time, especially later, Abby and Negedi?
Sure. Yeah.
She's quite a spark, later in the match.
Negedi went in, did her job. What we needed her to do is to provide a bigger physical presence in the middle blocking-wise, and she did just that. I think she went out kind of wide-eyed and listened to the older players, took direction as she was going into the court and changed something, and that's what you want somebody coming off the bench to do. You want them to affect change as to what's happening on the court. And Abby DeGosta, I think that once she gets this match, it's probably really good for her to get some of those jitters out. That kid can play. We've seen her. Raul was my recruiting coordinator. He brought her in. He's like, Coach, just when she gets it, let her go, and she'll come up with some really good plays for her. She is still young, and she'll get some looks, and her job is to provide some relief in the serve-receive area and get some more balls off the floor, which we're on the losing side of the digs tonight, and we put some more of those defensive players out there, and Kritza Samuels made an appearance as well at the end, another defensive player. We got to pump this number of defensive plays up because it's directly connected to keeping our opponent's hitting percentage down, and I think that's something that they see as an opportunity to contribute to the team, and that role is pretty valuable. But I'm proud of them being able to jump in, and it's not easy as a freshman, but at the same time, I think that's what a complete team is for, and at different points in the season, I have to develop our bench and develop our depth because we're going to need everybody. It's not going to be, everyone's not going to play lights out. I think these two are a perfect example of saying everybody owns their own game, and they own their mistakes, they own their positives, and everybody shows up and they're ready to do what they need to do for the overall group to be successful.
That third set, what was, to any of you up there, what was the turnaround point? What was different about that third set that we came away with victory?
Well, we started blocking, and then we were able to force our middles a little bit. Nobody was really setting the middle on either side of the net. If you look at even the stat sheet, we didn't get the ball enough to our zero tempo, to our quicker attackers, and that's something that we have to continue to work on. I think it's so much easier to throw a ball up to, Lex and Gabby and Joss. It's easier to do that, but part of our offense is staying completely balanced, and to do it, we have to have passing, we have to stay in system, and I think we missed some opportunities to force our middles and keep speed in our offense, because that's something that works for us. And these hitters, they know how to take a ball like that. They like it that way. And it's become one of their traits and one of their strengths. And when we go away from it, we're just choosing a really hard way to play volleyball, our type of volleyball. And it's not the most effective and clearly not the most efficient way. So we have to get back to that, and we will.